And the play of color is where I'm at. And anything that gets in the way of it is, well, it's in the way. Not everything's been done with paint, you know. No, not everything's been done with color, paint, on its own terms. I think we're just beginning to discover what colors can do. These are what I used to paint with, and this is my palette. Colors that I want, basic 3 maybe, or 4, that I want to see together, see what happens when I intermix them. God, nice juicy color. It's a combination of serenity and excitement. You stare into a fire, same thing. We've all had that experience, where you just sort of lose yourself in it. I want my paintings to do that. A lot of my stuff comes from outside nature. And if it doesn't, it comes from another of my paintings. But essentially, yeah, it's all from nature. I often think about the rowboat we had. My grandpa kept it during the year. He'd bring it out at a certain time in the summer and he'd repaint it. And watching him paint the boat, the anticipation of seeing the boat in the water or near, it was all so wonderful. I can remember when it was down on the beach, and I'd do this a lot. I'd sit in the boat and just stare out at the ocean. And I'd sit there for hours. I mean, I loved it. It's a mesmerizing experience. You know, look at the ocean. It's constantly moving. It's always the same, but it's constantly changing. Well, that's what I want my painting to do. I spend a long time on the palette, put the stretch canvas on the wall. I get familiar with it as a blank, empty space. And then I go and I play with the color. I was very conscious of working with landscape, with those first large, vast paintings. Sky, earth, horizon. When the color finally began to take over, I said, I don't need it. I mean, it's in my way. To hell with the landscape. And then I start painting, and then I work it until the colors begin to do something. And I'm never conscious of what happens. It's just that I want to see these in a painting. I want to see these colors together. After I finish working those colors, and I might work it some more, and I might add some color that I hadn't thought of using in the first place to make the palette closer. And then I start painting, and then I start painting, and it's a matter of getting the paint on there and then pushing it around, mixing on the canvas itself as I paint, as I put the paint down, you know, beginning to modulate the color. And seeing about amounts, like how much is this in relation to this, and what happens if I cut down on it. It's like cooking, let's face it. You know, it really gets into fine tuning. And then it starts to happen, and then I see it happen or not, and that's the painting. It's the late Turners. There are a whole bunch of these color subject-less, but color pieces. And still a lot of people regard these as his unfinished paintings. They weren't signed because he hadn't worked on them and hadn't finished them on his terms. And this business of the painting acting, or doing this sort of thing or doing this sort of thing, I love it. I love it. The more you look, the more it happens. It's active. It just doesn't sit there. I'm making something that I want to see. Making a world that I want to live in. So I do for myself. I had a trunk full of drawings. I mean, literally a trunk. And I took that trunk to show Albus that day that I had my interview. They get into Yale, and he opened it, and he flipped through. He said, you know, I not only want to take you in, but I want to pass you on the first year because of all the drawing I'd done on my own. Can't study with Joseph Albus and not come away with his teaching. He made sure of that. I liked him. I respected him. I can't imagine a better teacher. He was, I think, and if he were still around, I think he'd nod when I say this, but he was as much a teacher as he was a painter. I remember him saying, he said, you know, you have to do what I did when I went to the Bauhaus. He said, you're going to have to unlearn everything that you've learned. Did you ever try to unlearn something? It's not easy. I remember I had hand-me-down suits. So I was wearing suits to paint. I remember he came in one day and he saw me painting in a suit, and he said, you know, Kandinsky used to paint in a suit. These are little anecdotes that we heard from him in our time at Yale, made it part of the whole learning experience, and brought the Bauhaus to us. When I say he taught me, that's what he taught me. He taught me, and he always used to say, "I open eyes." Well, that's exactly what he did. I mean, I learned to see objectively because of him. When I get something that I feel is good, I've made it on my terms, and I can't tear myself away from it. I know it's good. The ones that aren't good, it's very easy to walk away. It's either there or it isn't. And for the life of me, I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but it's there. And I know it. I don't have to have somebody tell me. It's there. I'm seeing it. And I can be pretty confident other people are going to see it if I see it. I mean, this is strictly visual. When I don't think I can do anything to improve it, that's a finished painting. Mm-hmm.